Hi, in this video, we're going to do a complicated, tricky combination problem, calculating the probability of choosing a subgroup of men and women of a certain size. But it turns out that the calculation is actually pretty simple, and the concept is pretty easy if you just kind of walk through what you're trying to calculate and how you're going about calculating it. So let's get right into it and let's look at this example.
Hi, we're going to do a combination problem that is pretty tricky to calculate if you don't know how to do such problems. If you don't know the formula for how to break this problem down, this can be kind of confusing. But once you know the formula, you can do lots of problems, and they all fall into this same pattern. So let's get going with today's lesson. So in this example, we're going to figure out, we're going to examine, we have a club with 8 male and 12 female members. And we're going to choose a 6-member committee. And we want to look at the probability that the committee contains at least 5 women. So that means we could have 5 women and 1 man, or 6 women and 0 men. Either of these would satisfy the problem. So if you were going to just solve this problem here, that would be a pretty easy problem to solve. That looks like omen. Let's say 0 men. Make this really clear. 0 men. Okay, this one is actually pretty easy to calculate because this is just, well, we know how to do this. If you have 20 people, what is the odds that the first one you choose is a female? I'm randomly choosing, so that's going to be 12 out of 20. That's going to be the first person. But now that that person's gone, the second person is going to be 11 times 19, because there's 19 people left, and 11 of them are women. And then the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth would be 10 times the remaining 18. Then there's you got to choose 9 out of the remaining 17 are women, and then 8 of the remaining 16 are women, and then the final one is 7 out of 15. So this would be the odds that you would have. This would be all 6 women and 0 men. But we have this other chance that 5 are women and 1 is a man, and that makes this problem become a little bit more tricky. And so the way that you can solve any of these problems, I could give you the problem where it said 3 men and 3 women. Exactly. What's the probability of that? Or 1, 2 men and 4 women. We could. What I'm going to show you how to do is you could calculate any of these. So the way that you do it is let's draw over here how many men we have. Let's do this in a different color just because we can. So men, we have 8 men, and then we have 12 women. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at how many ways, we're going to ask how many ways can we choose 1 man from a group of 8, right? Because we want to evaluate this case here. We're going to look at that case, 5 women and 1 man, and then we're going to ask how many ways can we choose 5 women from a group of 12. And we're going to multiply those together. And that's going to be the number of ways we're going to multiply. That's going to be the number of ways that a group of 1 man can be arranged with a group of 5 women. And after we do that multiplication, that's going to be the number of combinations. And then we're going to divide that by the total ways we can choose 6 people from a group of 20. Right? Because the idea here is we're going to choose that's 20 total. We're going to choose six random people from this group, and that's going to be the number. This is going to be the total ways. Well, we already drew this out. It's going to be the total ways that we can choose 6 people from a group of 20, regardless of how many men or women. And then we're going to say, well, of those number of ways, how many of them contained 1 man and 5 women? And then that's our formula. Then we're done. All we have to do is do the calculation and divide. And then we can solve, maybe we'll even do 1 or 2 more problems like this. So let's look at this. So how many ways can we choose 1 man from a group of 8? Well, that's kind of easy. The answer is 8, right? You can choose this guy, or you can choose this guy, you can choose this guy. But the way that you can choose, you can write that as a formula is you say 8, choose 1. Some people write it choose 8, 1. There's a number of ways to denote this, but we'll use this way of denoting it. So that's 8, choose 1, and we're going to multiply that by how many ways we can choose 5 women from a group of 12. That's a harder calculation. We can't just do that in our head, but we know that that's 12, choose 5. And then how many ways can we choose? And then that's going to be divided by the number of ways that we can choose 6 people from a group of 20. So that's easy. That's 20, choose 6. And so that's going to be this part of the equation. Now, rather than have to come up with this formula too, we'll get the same number, but we can say how many ways can we choose 6 women and 0 men? Well, if we use this same formula, that's going to be 8, choose 0, because we're not choosing any men, times 12, choose 6, because we're going to choose 6 women out of the group of 12. And we're going to divide that by 20, choose 6. And then we're just going to have to add these together. So let's, I'll do these calculations. So let's see. So 8 choose 1, we know is 8. 8 choose 0. Anything choose 0 is always 1. You know, you can do the math on that. 12 choose 5. I'm going to punch that into my calculator. I have a calculator that will do that for me. 12 choose 5 is 792, 792. And 20 choose 6 is 38,760. So we can put that one down here too, 38,760. 12 choose 6 is, I'm going to type that one into my calculator. That's 924. So if we take these two numbers and we add them together, then we should get our answer. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then I'll tell you what I got. 8 times 792. Divided by, and I get 0.1873065 . And so that's going to be equal to 18 point, and you got to be careful because these problems will always ask, you know, to 2 digits, 3 digits, or whatever. But the answer is going to be 18.73%. You know, if we wanted to, we could do some other calculations real quick, just for fun. If we said we had to have a committee with 2 men and 4 women, what's the percentage of that? Well, that's just going to be 8 choose 2 times 12 choose 4 over 20 choose 6. And 8 choose 2 is 28 times 12 choose 4 is 495 over 38,760, and that's going to be 28 times 495 divided by 38,760. Oh, that's more common. That's going to be 35.76%. So if we, if we add up all these percentages together, we should get to it. And if we did it for 3 men and 3 women, and then 4 men, 2 women, 5 men, 1 woman, and 6 men and 0 women, if we add all those percentages together, we will come up with 100%, which is pretty cool. So, all right, hopefully this video helped you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. But I think that I gave a little intuition around how you do these problems, and showed you the calculation and the formulas. So hopefully this was helpful. We'll talk to you later. Good luck in your statistics and finite math classes.